track leaders for the track. Let me begin by making some highlights of last week. So we had a lot of pull requests. We've seen a lot of activity on running routers, and everyone was very helpful in the chat. And we've seen also some really good submissions on the guides and tutorials and videos. So overall, we've had a really good activity last week. And now that we have familiarized ourselves with the router software, I think we are ready to go to the next level. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about the program roadmap, the missions for this week, and QA session for some questions that were submitted over the form that we have sent by the weekend. For the program roadmap, we are now in week 3, week 4, in the gap shown there. So right now we are at the stage of doing some high complex stuff in the router side. So having that in mind, I want to present the missions for this week. So with the new testnet upgrade that's yet to happen, adding liquidity to the new contract and having the router running with that is one of the main activities for this week. And also sending feedback and bugs and everything that is not working well will receive some points as well. Also, we have added flash challenges and Connext quests. These are some like a more global tasks that we can have and somehow more complex. For flash challenges, we have the first challenge is to explore all guides, gather them in one place in docs, and this will be available on the official Connext documentation, and also complete the router documentation introduction, also as well in the main documentation. From the Connext quests, these are somehow more complex tools that require a lot of time, so they are not time-based. So everyone that wants to build tools or do a quick router setup or alerting system for router or monitoring tools will have to first submit a proposal and discuss with us in the meantime, and then we approve that for working on that task, because mostly we don't want people to waste time on working on the same things. So having multiple people working on different would be more efficient in that regard. Let me go through all the flash challenges and to explain what are those about. So for the first one, with explore all guides and gather them in one places in docs. Basically, the docs are on Connext network routers guides, and we have to explore every guide that were written by the routers and group them by type, and also link them, and afterwards when we have a complete version of them, and that was curated by the community, we will submit a proposal for the Connext team to add them to the official documentation. So this would be one flash challenge for this week. The second flash challenge is to complete the router documentation introduction. We have a page not found on the docs router introduction, so we should fix it by adding a pull request with information about who are the routers, why do we need them in Connext, security assumption and risks, business models, and all those information can be found on other resources that's all spread around in the Connext documentation, but they are not showing there. So that's one flash challenge that can be done this week. The idea would be the one that makes the best pull request will get into the documentation and will basically win some points for doing that. Okay, and now on the higher, more complex ones, like around the build tools, we're looking for high impact tools that will improve the router experience. So here we are open to suggestions and in a way from your experience from running the routers. On the second quest, we thought about a quick router setup. For that, for example, we are exploring ways in which you would have a router up and running with minimum effort. So some examples that we thought about would be set up based on any kind of scripting language. For example, Bash scripts or Python, or another setup would be automate deployment using any kind of infrastructure as a code, like Ansible, Terraform, or any other. Or to develop a router setup using npm or yarn instead of using Docker Compose, or to develop a router setup using Helm or any kind of Kubernetes manifest. So if we have people in the community with this kind of experience, we are looking to accept those proposals and let them work on that on those setups. The goal would be a tool for running routers with just one click. So please don't hesitate to send your proposals. The quest number 3 would be an alerting system for routers. And we thought about creating an alerting tool, so you would have your own Telegram channel or Slack or Discord, and you'd receive alerts based on some analytics. So the router being down, or we're not sending transactions, or being stuck in some way. And as some examples that might be used for doing that would be to integrate Alert Manager into the Docker Compose, or use Alert Manager to send alerts to Slack, Telegram, Discord channels as well, or use Grafana to send alerts on Slack and integrate with on-call tools. On-call tools might be something like maybe Matej can help me with some.
Qt, Ops Genie, there are different options here.
Yeah, so basically those on-call tools will, if you have on-call engineers that are monitoring some kind of setups, they get called in the middle of the night with an alert that is triggered. So that's one cool feature to ensure 24/7 uptime in a way. So if you're running independently, that piece of software depends on some kind of finance or being in time to respond, having this kind of on-call tool would help you stay have uptime and never get slashed. Right now, I don't think it's something that the Connext router is requiring, but it's something nice to have in the end. Also, the Quest 4 for monitoring tools for routers. We were thinking about implementing different monitoring deployments or dashboard for the router. As an example, we can use different tools for deploying an observability stack like Elasticsearch, Kibana, or CloudWatch, or to create Grafana dashboard. The idea is to have different approaches to monitor the router metrics and logs. So each router deployment can be easily integrated with any kind of infrastructure. So this would be the big challenges or big quests that we have for now. We will add others in the future based on your feedback and what other tools need to be built. And now for the Q&A session, we've received some questions. Some questions on the Google form that we have received, and one
Fabian,
of
sorry
them,
to interrupt. Can
yeah,
you disable your cam so Kale can increase the limit on the people who can join uh, the contributor voice? Thanks.
yeah, just
Okay,
just disabled.
okay, thank you.
Okay, so one question was, would there be any more new quests and how are points calculated? So we just announced some new quests today, but the point calculation has not yet started. So we haven't given any points uh, to all the contributors, but we have recorded the effort and what was submitted on GitHub and also on Discord. So we haven't started because we want to give everyone the chance to participate. So the earliest participants will receive more points based on their submission time. Another question was around the infrastructure provider and how to run the graph indexer. We were mentioning that we have some quests of running infrastructure. So being an infrastructure provider requires running a blockchain full node and exposing the RPCs or WebSocket endpoints for routers to use. So if you are familiar with running Ethereum nodes or other nodes that Connext is running on. So this is one activity that we will have based on needs. We will have a strategy for ensuring that we have enough RPC endpoints for the routers to use. On the other side, the graph indexers are based on the full node. So a graph indexer basically does some kind of interrogation of a full node via RPC, and it indexes some data from it, and it's usually based on smart contract. As you know, the Connext router also has a smart contract deployed, and in order to get information out of it and display it in the on the UI, you require a subgraph to index that information. So running a graph indexer would help the interface, the user interface, to show different kind of information to all the users. Just to give a highlight overview of what would that be required. Right now, the graph code is open source, so we also have some guides on running them, and I think they are also highlighted on Connext Academy. It was shared by peer-to-peer, our other community leaders. And when the time comes, we will focus on that as well. But right now is not a top priority. Okay, and then we can go to the next question. Can I still be part of this family even after contributors program end, just not to feel alone? Of course, we are a big family, even though we are not in some sort of competition. So we will be in the community channels and everywhere. So because the software will always need improvement, and we will always progress in that regard. Do you have any public board for tracking score? We don't have one. We don't have one yet. We will announce when the tracking scores are available. As I was mentioning, the work in that regard hasn't been yet done. Okay, that would be the small presentation that I had for you today. Also curious if you have any questions other than the ones that were answered for us to respond. Okay, so if there aren't any questions, we will share the GitHub updated GitHub with the new missions for this week, and we can continue the discussion there. Thank you all for joining, and I hope you have a great weekend ahead. Bye bye.